Alrighty, hello. Here we are for our spring equinox, our spring season, Ostara season, reading for 2022. So, if you were able to catch my live this weekend, I talked about uh, the energy for spring. And spring, as we know, is bringing in new beginnings, new perspectives. Uh, New ways of doing things, a new approach, starting fresh, getting rid of the old, creating space and welcoming in new. So, the title of this reading overall is Release and Growth. So, I shared the first part of this reading when I did my live, because I didn't want to go through the entire reading, it would take too much time. So I'm going to reflect a little bit on what I had discussed, and there's been some additions to this reading since I am going into the months of April, which is ruled by Aries, May, which is ruled by Taurus, and then oh, and then June, which is ruled by Gemini. So I'm going to focus on those properties for each month. So for each equinox and each solstice, um, I do a reading for the energy to focus on for that particular month. Okay. So, oops. So let's go right into it. Okay. So we are, as of March 20th, we are in the sign of Aries. This is the start of the new astrological season. And then next month, we are going into Taurus, which I believe is April 20th or 21st. It's the starting month for Taurus. And then Gemini, I believe, is going to be either May 19th or 20th. I think it's the 20th this year. So I'm going to break these all up. I'm going to timestamp these so you can focus on the energy for the month of April, May, and June. So what I have here for the coming month of April, and before I get started, I included links in the description if you want to backtrack the readings that I did for the previous Sabbath for Imbal, which is February 1st of each year. And then the Yule winter solstice reading that I did is also included. So you could see the energy that took place from January, February, and March for my Yule winter solstice readings. And you could tie that in with this reading for our upcoming months. Okay, so take a look at those videos when you have some time. Those are also time stamped with the exception of Imbal, which was just a quick reading for the month of February. All right, so for April, month of Aries, where fiery energy, things are getting initiated. We are starting to release and show little hints of what we would like to develop for the spring season. But what I've done here is, and what I've done for the equinox and solstice readings is I'm working with two decks. This season, which I tend to do every spring season, I work with the Witch's Oracle by Sally Morningstar and the Witch's Wisdom by Phyllis Curott. So the Witch's Oracle is the key focus for that month. And then the Witch's Wisdom shows how we take that particular focus of that oracle card and how we can utilize it. The Witch's Wisdom and Witch's Oracle, the energies work very nicely together. So that's why I'm working with those two. Okay, let's go right into it. So for the month of April, the oracle card that I selected that was guided to me is the Book of Shadows. And we have the key word here of experience. Okay, so the Book of Shadows, this is like a grimoire, spiritual diary is one way you could see this, where we write down our experiences. We also write down what we're learning in the process of building a spiritual practice. Book of Shadows tends to be incantations. It could be prayers that you've developed for yourself that seem to work when it comes for banishing and manifesting energies. But primarily, the Book of Shadows is a book of reflection. We're seeing the journey that we've gone through and writing down our pains, our joys, our uncertainties, and seeing what has developed from them. Okay, so the Book of Shadows is of self-reflection. Okay, we have the candle there for guidance, but we also have here in the corner, we have roses. We start seeing the growth. We start seeing what begins to start taking shape, what we've been making changes towards, and the beauty that's coming from that understanding of what we've learned from the past. Okay, so for April, month of Aries, okay, we're going to take the experience that we've had. Okay, we've already finished our winter season, so we can look back into our months of January, February, March, and see what occurred during those times and what we've made to release any of that energy and to start making change. So with that kind of influence of experience from our past, the two cards that I pulled from the Witch's Wisdom are actually Earth influenced. Cards that I got here is the Three of Earth, and wonderfully tied in with the Ace of Earth. Okay, Witch's Wisdom deals with our spiritual connection of working with the resources of nature through the elements of fire, air, earth, and water. So for those who watch my channel, know I'm a strong advocate of working with elemental energy. So I always use those terms, earth, air, water, fire, in reference to the tarot of wands, cups, swords, and pentacles or coins. So with our Three of Earth, in relation to our experience, okay, what we've learned and in our recent season and our past few months, January, February, March, we have here experience that we've learned from that is now how to communicate. The Three of Earth is building or establishing a relationship, how we connect with others. And the energy that I was feeling specifically with this card is basically a support group. But primarily, if you look at this card here, it's showing to me, I feel like we have the adult, the wise one, and then we have the youth. Okay, we have those that are in an environment where they're taking in all this information, but they need guidance. So I feel here with this Three of Earth, we can share and exchange information through those who are wanting to learn and those who already have that wisdom, that knowledge, and they want to share it back. It's building a really honest connection with others. And this kind of relationship strengthens these opposing views, these different kinds of energies that we face from different generations. And spiritually, it's also a lesson for the adults, because when we look into the eyes of the past, of who we once were when we were younger, and we look into the eyes of the adult, we're looking into the future. So this Three of Earth becomes a cycle of remembrance of where we came from and to where we are right now. So that's the beauty with this Three of Earth card. Okay, it's just how we connect, but also reflecting back and seeing where we were, but also communicating what we've learned from that time to where we are now. Okay, second card I have here, I have Ace of Earth. Beautiful card. I'm going to make reference to Candy, Soul and Soil, who's out in the United Kingdom, who took an appreciation to this card. She made a comment about it. So the Ace of Earth is creating that beauty. Okay, how much we are nurturing and preserving what we are being called to create. What is the right steps, the right direction that we need in creating a healthy outcome? And one way we could do this is look at our resources. What do we have around us that we can start utilizing and start investing, starting to plant in the direction of what we want to see of a fruitful outcome. There's a lot of beauty in here. So we're looking at what we have around us, what we need to draw from those sources in that environment that can sustain us and that can potentially allow us to grow even further. It's the way that we take and approach what we have with us, okay? This involves experience, knowledge, knowing what we're working with and how to take care of this. You know, how much time to put into it, how much time to give it a period of time to rest and then to resoil. So this is all about investing into our future. What is of great importance to us and how we maintain it. Okay, so this reading for April and using this Aries energy of creativity and movement, but also putting all of this energy in a direct fashion will allow us, to work with these influences. Okay, working with a group of people, but very supportive. We need to make sure that we are understanding where we are coming from and where we want to go. Take in that information. And then once we understand it and we know how to work with it, we could start, taking care of it, maintaining this. Okay. So I also have a written version of this reading here on my blog. Okay, and that I'll put also in the description. Okay, so we're looking at experience. We're looking at building a supportive community, but one where I feel that it's good to work with those who are younger than us, so that we can learn from each other. And then, of course, the resources. Look at where we are right now, what we have around us, that can nurture and build up what we need that is of great importance to us. Okay, and also how we approach that stance for growth. All right, so for the month of May for Taurus, I actually got opposing energies here. So Aries, like I said, is fire. So for April, we got earth signs. But for the month of Taurus, for May, I got 2 cards in the realm of fire. But our card of guidance is from our Witch's Oracle, Heritage. Okay. Now, Radia is considered an Italian witchcraft, as Aradia is the daughter of Diana, who is considered to be who is the moon goddess, but is also seen as the queen of witches, or the queen of witchcraft. Here, Aradia takes that legacy from her mom and puts it in the realm of nature, connecting with nature. Here we have the crow, the messenger. If you look up there in the corner, we have the crescent moon, paying homage to Diana and her influence. So it's communicating with this energy. It's forces that we've inherited, okay, through family, through education, but now it's how we utilize this. I like the word utilize, because utilize is how we understand and work with what we have. So with Aradia, this is the guide of working with our inner forces. Okay. The moon, of course, is intuitive, deals with feminine energy. So it's how we wisely connect to those intuitive energies that we feel, what's calling to us. It's the energy that moves from nature and showing its respect in that environment, showing respect to all those energy forces of fire, air, earth, and water. Okay, it's also a time of reconnecting with nature, so that we can get a better sense of ourselves. Okay, this environment here that we see, that has been inherited, is one that is of calm. Everything has a set foundation to it. Okay, so with this card here, it's listening to our inherent knowledge, wisdom, following our intuition, and using the powers of nature or our elements, understanding how those elements work and applying it into the best circumstances. Okay, so now the cards that I have here following Aradia. There we go. As I mentioned, I have two cards that are held in the realm of fire. Okay, and speaking of fire, I think the second time I've done this, I need to go to my stove and shut off the food before it burns. I will be right back. All righty. So with that connecting of ourselves and using that connection and using it outwardly for nature, we could start working with these powers of fire. Okay, so I have here the Witch of Fire, and then the Six of Fire. Out of these two cards in particular, this Witch of Fire complements this energy. Okay, we're seeing our understanding, our knowledge of how we work with nature, but now with the Witch of Fire, we start putting it into action. So Taurus is of self-worth, how much time that we put into what we feel so strongly about, but also how we approach and how we take action to make these things happen. So with the Witch of Fire, we have this powerful source, This is the equivalent to the Queen of Wands. This is actually my favorite cards, one of the cards that I identify with the most, because it is a card of inspiration. It is a card of an individual who has a strong sense of the self, um, has listened, has experienced, and has gone through um, different circumstances to reach different stages of personal fulfillment, uh, with work, business, so on and so forth. Um, we could say the Witch of Fire is the flame of inspiration. Um, and we call upon this individual when looking for inspiration, when looking for some form of motivation, when we're just not clear on how to get it. So we go to an influence. We find a force that moves us and inspires us to say, "Hey, this person did this, so can I." Um, but to get to this point of getting things moving, you have to ask yourself, what do you truly desire in life? What is the most important thing as of this moment that you want to have? I shouldn't say have. I have to start deleting that word have, that you need to have, or that you need. Um, Caught myself there. The challenge may come when facing the fears of attaining these desired goals. And so this actually, that fear in particular is going to show up in my reading for next month, for June. So that's the challenge. We have to learn how to trust. Okay, we have to release um, any fear, anything that's going to hold us back, and just have faith, trust that the light that we have, this force that we're feeling, um, this driving force is going to guide us in the right direction. Okay. And so this is where we call upon this kind of energy when things don't feel like they're moving the way they are. We need to find inspiration. Okay. And use that influence as the driving force to where we want to be, what we want to attain. Okay. So 6 of Fire. Okay, so now we're seeing the spiritual influence once things start moving. Okay, again, this is for the month of Taurus, month of May. We start seeing things shifting. This light that and desire that we've been working towards is starting to show results. Okay, we're starting to see things take form. Know that whatever actions that you have chosen to make is right where you need to be, and allow this flame, because air is needed to fuel that flame, to keep it burning. Let it move naturally. Okay. Don't take charge, and that's sometimes hard as you're seeing things go into action. Let things move the way that they need to move. Okay. And so we have the dragonfly. The dragonfly is spiritual lightness. Okay. You're letting that force, that natural force, move where it needs to move. Okay. Don't change it. Okay. You know what happens if you change fire? If you put your hands into something that's like in action, like a wheel or burning flame, you're going to get hurt. There's going to be a disturbance, and we don't want this. So for the month of Taurus, the month of May, we're seeing this working with with natural forces. Okay. Let things happen in a very organic way. Okay. And again, find this inspiration. It could be through someone, or the inspiration can be coming from you, because you're starting to feel this excitement. And it's like, oh, this is wonderful. I like how things are going. I'm going to keep going like this. Okay. That's where the awareness of the Six of Fire comes in. Okay. You're starting to understand. You're starting to see how things are moving together. So Taurus, May, there's going to be a lot of movement of energy, but let it go naturally. And I think this will be easy for Taurus, because Taurus is a sign that has a steady movement. They don't like anything coming into its way to either change its direction. It is a fixed sign. So Aries is cardinal, so it gets things moving. Taurus takes that moving energy and puts it in a set direction. So it has a key focus. So let's keep this fiery energy for the month of May going, but don't take control of it. Okay. Let it move naturally. All right. So for the month of June, ruled by Gemini, a little bit of a different reading. Okay. So we've been getting opposing elements for these months and for these astrological signs. Aries got earth. So that's fire and earth. And then Taurus, which is earth, got fire. Now for Gemini, for the month of June, which is Gemini's air, it has water. Okay, so the card that I pulled for Gemini, this is going to be a little different for this air sign. We got protection. This is the Holy Stone, also known as the Hag Stone. The Hag Stone is just this. It's a stone naturally formed where there's a hole in the center of it. These are considered to be protective amulets. They protect you from any outside disturbances. It helps you keep your energy safe and strong while you're in the process of working on a desired goal. Okay, but with this stone, what we're seeing here is we need to maintain this protective field, this protective energy throughout that month of June. Okay, watch where you are, who you are surrounded with, the environment that you're in. Watch it very closely, and if anything feels different to you, just be mindful of that, because that energy that you're feeling is a sign that maybe something's going to come in and maybe not place you in the direction of where you need to be. So if you have a set, similar to Taurus, if you have a set way of doing something, you cannot have any distractions, any external forces, or any internal forces like fear, apprehension, uncertainty. We need to put that at bay, okay, and put trust into this force that we have to keep us where we need to be. Okay, so Gemini, that's hard, because Gemini is all about air. Energy is how it communicates with people. So we could say for this month of June, ruled by Gemini, watch what we say and how we say it to people, how we communicate. Be more thoughtful. Not that Gemini isn't thoughtful, but for that month of June, as we're getting towards the tail end of the spring season and getting close to welcome in summer, watch how you share your thoughts. Okay. Because what you may say to someone could potentially use against you. And that's why I'm saying be protective in the way that you address certain situations. Okay. Yeah, keep that shield of protection around anything that is of great importance to you. Your health, your well-being, business endeavors, family relationships. Just be a little bit more aware of how those environments are working around you, and to be protective of how you communicate in those different situations. Now, the next two cards that I have here, as I mentioned, um, they're in the realm of water. First card that I have here is the Goddess of Water. Okay. So the Goddess of Water, what we're seeing here, I'm going to move closer so you could see, because when I first saw this, I just saw a vessel, but because it really takes the center of this card, but I had to look again, and then I start seeing the shape of the feminine womb, the energy, what we're nurturing, what we're caring for, what we're manifesting, what we're putting in to sustain this force. But with the Goddess of Water, okay, remember for the month of June for Gemini, we're looking to really build a connection to our deeper self. Intuitive wisdom is what's being nurtured in here. So that's what I was saying for Gemini when it comes to communication, wisdom, and knowledge. Don't take advantage of what we may already know. And maybe spend that month in June to explore this. Put more emphasis on what's inside here instead of feeling from your mind. Think with your heart. Think with your intuition. It's also the forming of an emotional awakening, potentially, during this time. But the key here is listening to our primordial, self. What is growing? What has been manifested from the past? And what has been released from that moment, and what we've learned from it. Again, we're looking at the past, moving into what's happening now. We are shifting every second. And so we have to be aware of these shifts, especially when they're very strong. If we sense that there is something changing with us spiritually, emotionally, obviously physically, listen to it, because that's an important sign to pay attention to, because it's going to be an experience that we have to be prepared to embrace and to welcome and to utilize. Okay, next card I have here reverse, though, 9 of water, or 9 of cups. Okay, so with 9 of water reversed, I'm going to show you the upright version because I know some people may not know this deck. Okay, so this is a salmon. Okay, salmon is a freshwater fish that we, depending on where you are, we can see it during certain times of the year, springing out of the water, but it's also going against the direction of the current. It's like running, swimming, hopping, flying in the opposite direction of where the current is going to. But here it's opposing. Now, the salmon or fish deals with abundance, knowledge. But here, with it being reversed, we're seeing a block. Okay, we're seeing a lack of trust, a lack of strength of what we could possibly be facing. Okay, so remember, currents are going the opposite direction. They're going downward, but here we have this creature, our inner self, that is going against challenges that seems to be a bit overwhelming to them. Okay, we're in the element of water. So we're seeing this fast current of emotions going all over the place, and seeing what is up ahead may seem very daunting and almost impossible to get to where we want to be. You know, our desires, our goals, what means so much to us. We need to know and understand how we can get past that. And that comes by calling yourself out inside, asking, what is this fear? What is this uncertainty? Why do we feel that this is such a challenge to go through? Is it laziness? That could be part of it. Again, it could be fear of just what is going to happen in the process of getting there, but also the fear of what happens if something does happen. What happens if it is good? If the outcome is promising? Then what happens next? And that's something where we get the term self-sabotage. We know that there is a potential of something good happening, but it's that fear of what happens afterwards. How do you maintain that? So with this reverse 9 of water card, we have to learn how to trust the heart. Okay, there's been times in our lives where things have, we've trusted our instincts, we've followed our heart, and it's worked out. But something for this month of June, something may come in where this particular circumstance is a little different, and it's going to ask you, why do you not want to move forward with this? Okay. Trust the heart. Trust the will of the spirit. Okay. Trust this excitement that we're building up to in spring and from April, May, and June. Okay. Regain that will of knowing that I can do it. Remember the little train that could and kept saying, I think I can, I think I can, I think I can, I think I can. And you know that you can do it. You just keep pursuing, keep moving forward. Okay. And as you keep going through those challenges and you go break through one block after another, you're making steps. You're moving in that direction. Okay. But also to understand what's going on in that environment, that challenging environment. If it's something that's going to be dangerous for you, you have to know how to work around that, because you still need to continue moving forward. Don't let that fear of a challenge that could be daunting or apprehensive to you hold you back. You have to learn how to work around that. And also keep in mind that the salmon, they have the cycle of life, right? They spawn, they live their life, they go up the stream, they die, and it starts over again. They mate, so on and so forth. So consider this card, reverse-wise, the challenges of cycles, but also the beauty of starting anew. Okay, so remember what I was saying about this reading. This is release and growth throughout this entire season, spring season. Okay. So with challenges that may come up, we're gonna feel some setbacks that we set upon ourselves, and we need to get past that. We need to keep moving forward. Okay. And then we learn. And then the next experience happens. And sometimes experiences are more smoother than others. Sometimes it's more challenging. So that's where we have to learn. But also keep in mind what I was mentioning. Okay. During this time, we have to be protective of ourselves. We don't want anyone to come in and throw something at us that could just completely deter us. And if it does happen, and you have that strong sense of spiritual confidence, you will have anything that comes through you. You can still go and move forward. Okay. So for the month of June, I would say it's more of inspiration and finding that trust of manifesting our instincts of the heart and our will to go through anything that comes our way. Okay, so we're going to create boundaries to protect ourselves. Also, the emotional wisdom that we get with the goddess of water. New spiritual awakening for the goddess of water is what's nurturing inside of us. Okay, so that's what you have for our spring season. Okay, and again, I will break this up. I will timestamp it. And also I have a written version where I've pulled notes from my article of this reading into this reading as well. But I go into a little bit more detail with the reading that I have on my website. So it's going to be up. Take a look at that. I will be back for our next reading for the Witch's Sabbath of Beltane, which will be May 1st. And then after that, I will do another reading for the summer solstice using the energies of July, August, and September to represent those months. But that will be during the week of summer solstice. So any questions you may have about this reading, feel free to leave them in the comments. Reach out to me via my website. I'm on Instagram. All that information is in the description. Take a look at my series that I'm doing right now for readings for the elements of the astrological signs of fire, air, earth, water. These are going to be listed this week. So you can see what energy your sign holds, and that could be your sun sign, your moon, and rising, that holds for the season of Aries. So, and the Aries season starts March 20th, or started March 20th, and goes right into April 19th. And then from there, we go into the month of Taurus. Okay, so there you have it. A pretty general overview, but if you can pull out these cards, I'm asking people to do an exercise along with me. Pull out cards that you have from your tarot deck that are in line with the readings that I've done here. You can put them on your altar, and you can use them as a form of daily guidance for that particular month, like April, May, and June. And that can help you get maybe a little bit more perspective on certain situations that may be coming up for each month, for April, Aries, May, Taurus, and June, Gemini. All right, this is Amy, Mystic Rose Tarot. Thank you so much for watching. Feel free to leave a donation if you like for any of the readings that I've shared here with you to support the channel. And my books that I have here. Appreciate it. It's not forced upon, but it is always welcome. Other than that, I will see you again very soon, and have a wonderful spring season. And let's release and let's bring in new growth during this time. Okay? I will see you again very soon.